Good morning, dear children. So, we already finished the second chapter. Now, today we'll start the third chapter. That is man as a farmer and herder. So in previous chapter we have learned that early man was nomad and he wandered in forests in search of food and shelter. After then he started to live in group, and that was the beginning of the earliest society. After then he started to make tools and weapons by stone, and that age was known as Stone Age. Remember that? And that Stone Age was divided into three different stages. And there were, the first was the Paleolithic period, second Mesolithic period, and the third the Neolithic period. In Paleolithic period, man was a hunter and food gatherer. After that, in Mesolithic period, they started agriculture, and in the Neolithic period, he started to domesticate animals and he became farmer and herder. Now let's see the archaeological evidence. So archaeological evidence of the Neolithic age when men become a farmer and a herder have been found in different parts of India, especially in the northwestern and northeastern part of the country. So early men started to live in the villages, so archaeologists have found many remains of those villages in northwestern and northeastern parts of the country, along with specimens of houses, tools, pottery, etc. Some of the important sites connected with the Neolithic age are the following. As you can see here on the map, case study the northeast and the northwest Neolithic cultures, and reference, as you can see, the pink in color are all Neolithic cultures, and under bracket modern names are given here, and the present international boundary. And here you can see the Meghar situated in Bulistan province of Pakistan, Burgahom, a place about 20 kilometers from Srinagar in Kashmir, Chirwan, a place about 40 kilometers west of Patna on the northern side of the Ganga, and Sarutaru situated in the hills of Assam, Kuchai situated in the modern Orissa state, and various sites like Maski, Brahmabhiri, Halur, Kodakar, T, Nashipur, and Tekalakoda all in Karnataka, and Nagarjuna Konda in Andhra Pradesh. Now let's proceed to the next, that is the Neolithic or the New Stone Age. So the period of this time was 10,000 BC to 4000 BC. In Chip's picture of characteristic, the Old Stone Age lasted still about 10,000 BC. The discovery of agriculture marks the end of the Old Stone Age and the beginning of the New Stone Age. The change from Old Stone Age to New Stone Age was gradual. It was marked by several characteristics which are as follows. So let's see the next, that is domestication of plants and animals. So with the passage of time, man learned about the domestication of plants and animals, which were quite useful to him. This process began roughly 12,000 years ago, or about 10,000 BC. He grew those plants which were not prone to disease, had strong stalks capable of bearing the weight of the ripe fruits and grains, and could provide him grains for food. He gradually came to know that there were some plants and even animals which were wild in nature and could serve no use purpose for him. So as you can see here in the picture, agriculture became the main occupation, and the discovery in a new stone age, men tamed animals like dog, sheep, cow, horse, animals like camel, etc. The domestication of animals, as I told you, helped the early man in many ways. Some provide them food, some help them in farming, while the other carried loads. Besides, the skin and dung was very useful for them, and they learned that he grew those plants which were not prone to disease, had strong stalks capable of bearing the weight of the ripe fruits and grain, and could provide him grains for food. And the next is implication of farming. And the man of a new stone age discovered farming, which changed his life. Man now become a food producer instead of a food gatherer. So what is food producer and food gatherer? So food gatherer is refers to that period of man's history when man moved from one place to another, and in search of food and shelter he gathered food and hunted animals for food. And food producer, the man in new stone age discovered farming, which changes his life. Now man become a food producer instead of a food gatherer and begin to lead a settled life. And the discovery of agriculture was a great importance in the history of mankind. When men started farming, they led a settled life. They started growing crops of their own and also started keeping cattle, which gradually led them to the way of civilization. And the next is implication of herding. So in with the beginning of a subtle life, man came to know that certain animals could be easily tamed. He tamed the dog, sheep, goats, cow, horses, and camel, etc. Domestication and herding of animals had a great impact on his life. And man domesticated animals because with the beginning of a subtle life, man came to know that certain animals could easily be tamed. He tamed dog, sheep, goat, cow, camel, etc. Taming of such animals changed the life of men by satisfying their needs for food, clothing, carrying loads, flowing, etc. So, like the domestication of animals solved the problems of food to be a great extent as man got milk and meat from them, and he could use the animals like horse, bull, camel for riding, carrying load as well as for flowing. And animals like sheep solved the problem of clothing, and west of these animals was of great use for man as manure. Now next is invention of the wheel. So you must have seen the bus moving on the road or must have seen a car being driven on the road, isn't it? So can you guess what is common in all of them? Yes, it is that round object called as wheel, on which earliest vehicles run. The bus has wheels, so does the car. It is the great invention of the wheel due to which we are able to move much faster than in older times. The early men used to kill animals for their food and used to carry them for long distance to their cabs. One day it is believed that a man saw that a long a log of wood rolling down. He got very interested that how the log of wood was rolling. So early men took a log of wood and cut it from one side to form a round object, which finally came to be known as a wheel, and slowly block carts came to in existence. So as you can see here in the picture figure 3.2, invention of wheel. So discovery of wheel was the turning point of human history as it made transformation quite easy and faster, and they also had used wheels for making boats, spinning, weaving, etc. It was the foundation of modern industry. Now we'll proceed to the next, that is invention of pottery. So the invention of potter's wheel facilitated the making of earthenwares. Now man began to design different types of pots for his daily use. It made his life easier in many ways. He could now store food grains which were in surplus. He also store water. He now cooked food in vessels. Now you can see some pictures are given here in figure 3.3, specimens of crude pottery. And next is importance of using tools and weapons. So the Neolithic man greatly improved his tools and weapons. His tools and weapons were still made of stone, but now they were far better and sharper. He also polished them that they could last longer, and besides hunting, he used these tools for other purposes as well. While men in the Paleolithic age or the Old Stone Age used hand axes, choppers, and flax implements as his tools. He, however, developed and used axes, sickles, and bows and arrow in the Neolithic period or the New Stone Age. So the discovery of metals was very useful for tools and weapons, very useful for early man. He made stronger, sharper, and durable tools and weapons by using the metal. It helped them in the field of carpentry and also in the making the tools used in farming much stronger and sharper than before. And the next is beginning of settled life pit houses. In this paragraph, here you can see now man did not live in caves. He began to lead a settled life. The discovery of agriculture coupled with the domestication of animals. So whatever we discussed in first chapter, and I've already explained in the beginning about this, all these are written here in this paragraph, so read this by yourself. Okay, we'll proceed to the next. As you can see, comparison of the Paleolithic and the Neolithic period. Here comparison of the Paleolithic period and the Neolithic period is given here. Age, food, like as you can see, man gathered and hunted his food in the Paleolithic period, but in the Neolithic period, man produced his food from a food gatherer. He became a food producer. Animals, he did not tame animals, he only hunted them. But in the Neolithic period, he began the domestication of animals for civilization, riding and carrying the loads. Shelter, man live in caves or hide himself among the branches of trees. But in the Neolithic period, he gave up his cave dwelling and made huts and straw and mud near his field. So likewise, clothing, tools and implements, discoveries and inventions, way of lives are given here. So read this part by yourself. So our next topic is the early villages. So from settled life rose early villages where many families choose to live together for mutual cooperation and better protection. In villages, they lived in families and cultivated land. They learned how to grow rice and barley, vegetables and fruits, and cotton. They settled in groups beside a river or a lake. Many such settlements have been discovered in various parts of India, especially in the Malabar region. And the next describes their custom and practices. So the early villages were very small and usually two to three generations lived together in these villages. Okay, most of the families were related to each other, and a group of such families form a tribe. These members of the tribe followed different occupations such as food gathering, farming, herding, hunting, and fishing, etc. Women often did the farming, including preparation of the ground, sowing seeds, growing plants, and reaping the grain. Men usually led large herds of cattle in search of pastures. So there were certain jobs like making pots and tools, erecting huts, etc., which were done both by men and women. And children also helped their families by looking after plants and driving out the animals that might eat or destroy the growing plants. All members of the family, men, women and children, took part in the festivals like singing and dancing. In order to make the community life smooth, there had to be a leader in the village who could give commands to others, such a leader was generally the oldest man, though sometimes the strongest among them acted as the leader. And the next is discovery of metals. The march from the Old Stone Age to the New Stone Age, as we call it, was a process of gradual evolution, that is an improvement in the technique of living with such discoveries as that of fire and cultivation of crops. But one major discovery that proved a vital leap in the direction of modern civilization was the discovery of and use of metals. So in India, the first metal discovered by our ancestors was copper, followed by zinc and tin. Bronze and alloy obtained by mixing copper with tin was used for making tools, weapons, and utensils. So therefore, copper was the first metal discovered in India. In India, metal age is divided into two age, that is Bronze Age or Copper Age, and Iron Age. Okay, so the discovery and use of metals is an event of great importance in the history of mankind. Metals were definitely more durable than stone, all right, so they could be used for making stronger tools and implements. Now let's proceed to the last topic, that is religious faiths. In old Stone Age, man was always busy in gathering his food and hunting animals. He had no time to think about religion. So, in this paragraph, from this paragraph, let us understand that in ancient time, people did not have much idea about birth and death. They believed that after that, the soul travelers from this world to the other, the dead bodies were buried with all the belongings so that they would not face any problem to the journey to the other world. So don't get confused. In ancient time, I repeat, in ancient time, people did not have much idea about birth and death. All right, and in olden in that on those days, man always busy in gathering his food and hunting animals, and he had no time to think about religious. And they believe that after that the soul travelers from this world to the other, the dead bodies were buried with all the belongings so that they would not face any problem to the journey to the other world. So, dear children, from this chapter, let us learn that archaeological evidence that early men started to live in the villages. So, archaeologists have found many many archaeological archaeologists have found many remains of those villages in northwestern and northeastern part of the country, along with specimens of the house and domestication of plants and animals was helpful for him, and implication of farming, that how he became food producer instead of food gatherer, that how he began to lead a settled life, implications of herding, invention of wheels and invention of pottery, importance of using tools and weapons, and a beginning of settled life, and comparison of the Paleolithic and the Neolithic period, the early villages, tribes, their customs and practices, discovery of metal, and religious faith. So by the end of this video, you'll get homework. So don't forget to write homework in your history copy. Write neat and clean, and do not forget to send me back at time in my personal WhatsApp number. So till then, take care and study well for the exam.